How you doing, YouTube? Hillbilly Rideshare driver coming at you. Decided to do something a little different today with the Friday live stream from West Virginia. Yippee. Decided to just do a YouTube stream instead of doing a YouTube gamer stream. See how that goes. See if anybody likes it or if there's even a difference. I need to turn the radio down so that I don't get flagged. Keeping your car clean. I know it's of a chore. Riders expect your car to be clean. How clean? Clean enough? Spick and span? Spotless? How clean? Well, I keep mine pretty clean. I try to. It's sometimes it's difficult, especially with the weather that we have, and usually during the weather events, people don't generally expect you to have a spotless vehicle. But as soon as the sun comes out, they do. But of course, car washes, it's hard to get into. I kind of have three lines of thought on the cleanliness of my truck, car, or whatever you drive. If the weather is nice, I try to get it clean as soon as I can. If it is, if it just turned nice, most people understand. They don't care. They'll let you get by with, try to keep it clean, but, with this weather, you never know. And I'm not talking about filthy, inside, junked up, that kind of stuff. I'm talking about, pretty much outside of it, keeping it clean. Door jambs, doors themselves, glass, all that kind of stuff. Because, when it's sunny out, everything shows. Especially in black. Every little piece of dirt shows. So, I have that cleanliness. I mean, even in bad weather, I try not to let it get. When I'm mostly going to be driving at night, that's what I call the good enough clean. Because usually when you're driving at night, you're going to be driving intoxicated people, and for the most part, they'll let you slide on the details. It is difficult to keep it as clean as I want to at any level. And then I have the clean, good weather, sun's out, that clean. And it takes a lot to keep it clean at any level. And I think probably more so in bad weather, because you don't want to let it get too bad. Even, I've been, negative 12 with car wash. Of course, it's because somebody threw up, but still. You try to keep it at a certain level of cleanliness. And it costs money and time and You know, I don't think people realize that. Personally, if you get in an Uber driver's car or a Lyft or any rideshare, and it's cleaner than yours is, you know they have put a lot of effort into it, and really should be tipped. You know, getting a clean ride. You know, ride a bus, ride a train, grab a taxi even. You know, those aren't necessarily the cleanest modes of transportation around. Sorry, I had some smears on my window. Still do. I just clean my windows and they look like ass. Windex sucks. But anyway, just thought I would throw something up there about keeping your car detailed and cleaned up as a rideshare driver. And you know, if you live in you know, areas where the weather's fair, you don't get a lot of bad weather, your roads are good as far as no dirt roads, no mud, no place you're going to get you know, get all tied, get all muddied up. You know, it's much easier. And I know people in LA are saying, well, and maybe so, but unless you live on the beach or spend a lot of time near the ocean, where the salt, you know, is constantly settling on your vehicle, you know, give me a break. You know, when you have continuous days of sunshine and very little rain, it's a heck of a lot easier to clean and keep your car clean. I'm talking about the breadbasket of America, where we get 4 seasons, and for some reason winter just keeps hanging on here. It's nice today, it's supposed to be nice for a few days, but we'll see. Up north they're getting some pretty crappy weather, and say hey, I don't know, somebody popped in there watching, maybe say hey, chat box in there. Or maybe you did. I don't see any chat though. But anyway, it takes a lot of money and a lot of time to maintain your car, period. And particularly cleaning. You spend a few, you know, okay, I'll run through the car wash, 15 bucks. Right, you know, I'll pick up a can of this, a bottle of that. You know, that stuff adds up pretty quick. You know, you could easily get, you know, if you, and this is doing it yourself, you could easily have 40 bucks a week keeping your car clean, and that doesn't include any time that you spend. So okay, whoever's watching, if you have any questions or comments, or you know, want to throw something in there, toss something in the mix that I'm not missed or not discussing, jump on in. Water's fine. It's 88 degrees here in West Virginia. My God. Got my my coffee. Headed out to do a little driving. Spent about an hour or so tidying up the car, the truck, cleaning out the door jambs and stuff. I'm gonna hit a car wash. Outside of it's kind of crappy. I'm gonna hit a car wash and knock off the big stuff and take care of that. headed out on my way out to drive. Not sure where I'm going to drive tonight. I'm just going to go out and see what happens. Where I end up will just be a wanderer today. Nomad. Hey, how's it going? Well, I don't know. Just got off my 9 to 5, went home, made a pot of coffee, and did some cleaning. Started thinking about the effort that we put in as rideshare drivers, keeping our stuff clean and maintained. And it's kind of curious what kind of painstaking things people go through to keep their vehicle acceptable. I mean, you know, I don't know if you caught it or not, but you know, if I getting a rideshare vehicle, if it's cleaner than mine, you know, they probably put a lot of effort into it. Probably deserve a tip. By the way, Dark Road Run, I am currently talking about I'm trying to get some gas here. A video together on on getting on cable, how I got into it, and how you know, the history, cable TV, how it all came about. I started that. I'm gonna put it together and kind of do it in different chunks and bites, and edit it together and post it up here sometime. Hopefully not too long. Depends on, you know, how editing goes. I'm not that experienced at editing, and so I have to fumble through I think I only have one edited video posted ever. It took me forever to get it edited to what it is, and I'm still not happy with it. But you know, you do what you do. It's a hobby, something that is kind of fun to do and kills the boredom between rides, and you know, I ain't gonna make a living off it, that's for sure. So you getting ready to go out and drive? It's probably what, 3:22 out your way? Yeah, and the thing is, you know, even a mediocre editing software, you know, they want you to drop 30, 40, 50 bucks on even, you know, just you know, I don't want to drop a wad of money on something that, you know, I may not like it. I may want to go with a different one. I think I used Filmora something or other on the one that I did edit, which it's fairly intuitive, but it's still a pain in the arse. Hang on a minute, I'm gonna start the pump. For now. But yeah, it's, you know, this whole rideshare thing, you know, it gets expensive after a while. You know, I'm going to sit down and do the math on it one day to see if I'm actually making any money or if I'm just beating the hell out of my truck for nothing. Definitely need a raise. I'm a little bit, how are you feeling about the new app that's coming up? There isn't a whole lot of information about it. I'm a little bit nervous about how they're going to screw us with the new app. Yep, still pumping. Yeah, I haven't messed with that one. Didn't even occur to me to use that one. I figured it was like a very limited type thing where you didn't have a lot of the functions that you want until you get halfway through editing something. Figure it out. But they're in YouTube's trying to get into with their editing beta crap is just yeah, need a cleanup fee for the big announcement. Yeah, I didn't watch it. I knew there'd be plenty of videos and people talking about it, and I caught the email, hit the highlights on the app and stuff like that. But it sounds like the first 179 days of the 180 days of change. Yeah, I from what I gather, it was pretty much a lame Dara flapping his trap for 90 minutes or whatever it was. And gas is going up here too. I mean, we're most places are $1.70 plus or $2.70 plus cents a gallon for regular gas. So rates need to go up. We do better than some. We're at 97.5, but it still needs to be higher. Oh, be right back. Let me finish up the old gas thing here. $47.83. That's what it's going to cost me to drive tonight. Actually, I won't use all that, but I generally burn about, I'm going to guesstimate, average probably $30 a night whenever I drive, and it's fairly busy. Depends on where I go. If I go to Morgantown, that's an hour drive to and an hour drive home. So it cost me basically $30 to drive up there and back, give or take. Occasionally I'll get a ride. Yeah, definitely, ouch. And it definitely sometimes feels like we're paying to be out here, because I know I keep beating the dead horse, but it really is. When you're in an area where it just launched, you get all kinds of weird shit. And, one Friday night will be busier than busy, and then next Friday night you sit around and you aren't getting anything. And it's just that. And then you have the people that don't think about Uber until, it's 3 a.m. and they want to ride home. If I go to Morgantown, those drunks up there, they're students. They got it figured out. They'll grab an Uber to the bar and from the bar, which is the way to go. Shit. That's what I would do. Then I don't have to worry about either walking back to get my vehicle or catching a ride with someone else or getting another Uber back the next day. I just don't take your car to the bar to begin with. And it's not like you went to the bar and you accidentally got drunk. You knew what was going to happen before you left. Yeah, yeah, it is. It definitely can be. I had a brand new customer just installed the app and had not even ever used it, and he actually got my phone number from a friend of mine and called me and asked me about it. And I basically told him, I said, give the app a try when you need a ride, and let me know if you have any trouble with it. Give me a call, I'll walk you through it. Well, the guy ended up giving me, he managed to figure out how to give me a tip, but he says he accidentally gave me a 3-star rating. Because he got back in touch with me. He didn't call me, he texted me and told me that, and wanted to know how to change it. I'm like, can't. I said, here's Uber's number, give it a try, but I don't think it's gonna make any difference. Buddy, I wish I would have saw you trying to let me out before. I'm stuck behind a big truck going up a hill, so that's like excruciating. It's something we all in West Virginia try to avoid. Trucks always go slow uphill. Yeah, I try not to let the ratings get to me too much, and it really pisses me off, because when you get you know, one less than 5-star rating drops your rating instantly. But I've had like 10 5-star ratings since then, and it hasn't moved up. It takes forever. I don't know how they do their calculations. I mean, you would think that if you know, common sense would tell you, well, you know, if I got a 4-star, then, you know, a couple of 5 stars should bring me right back to where I was. But it doesn't work that way, because I don't know what their formula is for calculating. I've tried it a few different times. I've tried different calculations. I've tried, you know, comparing it to the number of rides versus the number of stars. I've tried counting the individual stars and doing. Yeah, I understand that, yeah, I mean, I understand that they count the last 500 rides and then they kind of start to roll off. I get that. I'm just trying to figure the calculation of how they do they count. Okay, you have 100 rides, 50 of them are 5 stars. That's 500 stars versus however many other stars that you have. I mean, I don't, you know, is it how many stars you have versus how many possible stars you could have had if you got all fives? It count based on your total number of rides, whether including the ones that didn't even leave a rating. Do those rides count, you know, sort of as a, you know, weight hanging out there that the ride counts, but there's no rating, and that just, like I said, I've played with the numbers a little bit and have never been able to come up with what my rating is. And Lyft is even worse. I mean, Lyft can go pound sand. They don't even keep track of their own correctly. No, we shouldn't. As a matter of fact, customer surveys as a whole is a completely flawed process. I don't care what company you're with. I don't care how they do it or how they calculate it. The whole customer survey rating systems, whatever it is completely flawed. And I know it's flawed because I worked, when I was in cable, you know, they had the customer satisfaction call after every job, and the customer would be asked a series of questions and how they would answer. And it's completely And I mean, and they literally, if you got, you know, if you got bad scores, even on one, they wanted the supervisor to call the customer to find out what went wrong and how we could do better. And I mean, people have lost their jobs because they got bad customer surveys. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily because you get a bad customer survey that they had a bad experience. They just might have had high expectations. I mean, when you're serving the public, I mean, they expect miracles. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I mean, I've literally had customers tell me, well, just wave your magic wand and do your voodoo and make it happen. I mean, literally told me that. And I had to stop him to explain to him exactly what needed to be done to make it happen. And at that point, he changed his mind. But they just had this thing in their mind that we can automatically know what they want when they want it. And all they have to do is point and say, go ahead. And we can, you know, we can do the impossible. But the whole, I've done it myself. I have got surveys, I have got phone calls, and it specifically says, you know, ones that say, now just based on the person you dealt with, or only based on the clerk or the cashier or the representative, how would you, and ask your questions. And I have literally, and only because I have been subjected to this kind of bullcrap, I have had to pull myself back from rating that as bad, because I had, even though I had a good experience with the representative or cashier or whatever, the company, I had a bad experience with the company. And since that's an employee of their company, it was hard for me not to give a bad rating based on that, because I was pissed at the company. And when you're pissed, you know, and they are part of the company. Well, I've had to stop myself a few times, and I know that there are other people out there who don't stop themselves. They intentionally give bad ratings and bad surveys to employees, and hoping to get something out of it, to get you know, something free, a discount. Who knows what their motivation is? They just had a bad day. I mean, I have received surveys. I've received bad surveys from customers in the cable business, and when I contacted them, the person who took the survey wasn't even the person that was present whenever the work was done. It's people are assholes. The surveys are completely bogus. Right, exactly. They don't. And a lot of riders don't understand that they get rated too. And when it comes up, I make sure that they know they're getting rated. I mean, I've had a ton of people that they had no idea that the customer got rated. And even people who have used the app and who have used it for a long time had no clue that they got rated also. And but it's all surveys, if they count for anything, it doesn't matter if it's for a bonus or what it is. Yeah, me too. But I mean, the idea is that if their score goes low enough, they won't be able to get a ride, or they'll have a hard time getting a ride. And there was actually a show on television. It's a series. My wife watches it. I don't watch it every time, but I can't. Life in Pieces, maybe, is the name of it. And one of the people on there couldn't get a Lyft ride. They kept getting, you know, they request a ride, and then they'd either cancel or they wouldn't be able to get a ride. and it was because they had like a 1-star or something like that. So I thought that was kind of good because it's a fairly popular TV show. So I'm thinking maybe, you know, at least some people will finally wake up and say, hey, you know, if we get a bad rating, we're not going to be able to get a ride. I wish it was more well known, but then the whole, you end up getting screwed into taking low-rated passengers by Lyft and Uber. You know, they throw, especially Lyft. Lyft screws you hard because they will literally change passengers, change riders on you while you're on your way to pick one up. So, and you don't get anything but the passenger's location has changed. All right, man, take it easy. Have a good night, man. We'll talk to you later. I actually hadn't planned on being on this long. I was going to make a quick thing about cleaning the car, but as usual, got off the rails, man. Have a good Friday. Make that money if you're going out to work. Happy Friday the 13th. Thanks for the thumbs up too, Dark Road Run. I assume that was you. There's one there. All right. We have no one else watching. And I wasn't planning on the video to run this long, but it has. I don't know if my other 6 subscribers are going to tune in or not, but anyway, those of you watching it later, you know, the old trifecta: like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to be notified whenever when I post something or go live. Never know, one of these days I might get crazy and say something interesting. You never know. It's a hillbilly in me. Alright, it's Friday the 13th, as I said. You guys go out and get you some money. If you can't get you some money, get you a nice stiff drink. But remember, don't drink and drive, brothers and sisters. It ain't worth it. Later.